Okay, welcome to Andy Likes Cars. Today we're going to be looking at this, my latest purchase, a Bang & Olufsen Beocenter 9500. As you can see, it comes with its original box, which is quite a bonus, and it's time to get it out of the box. Let's unpack. Oops. When I got the item, I noticed that the power cord had been severed, so I need to reattach this. Not entirely sure why someone would do this, or the previous owner did this, but hopefully it's not saying that there's a major electrical fault. Good news, it's lighting up and it seems to be working. It seems to be receiving power. I don't know if there's much sound output, but more interesting than anything is that these two doors here do not operate, and I think that it's because there's a series of strings underneath, and when I click there you hear a motor make a noise. Same on this side. This one's a bit loose, so I think I need to take it apart, and that's really the first thing, and I think going to be the hardest thing to fix on this. Now, interestingly enough, the seller said that the tuner wasn't working. But yet we've got the tuner displaying here, so maybe it is working. I probably need to actually connect some headphones. Maybe I'll do that right now. I just plugged in these headphones to the headphone input, and it's in radio mode, and the radio is working. So I would say for now that that's passed. So I think the next thing to do is to try and take it apart further and see if we can get these doors looked at. What I noticed when I brought it was that the CD door, which is here, was loose, and that's because over time I think that the belt had snapped and it no longer functioned, so the owner decided to kind of manhandle it, and in the process I think one of the cords got broken, these little kind of cords here, so that needs to be repaired. Finding the parts was a little bit tricky. At first, there are these two little black things here which slide along here, and I thought that one of them was missing. Turns out it was just at the bottom of the machine. I found it. There's also this metal bar. One of these was missing, so I made another one of these, which is over here on the other side. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-string this CD door here. Now, because one of the cords were cut, and this is one of the cords here, I'm going to have to make a new cord. I've got this polyester thread here, which seems reasonably thick and hopefully will do a good enough job. Tie a little knot in the end of here, and I'm going to pull it tight. Use this one original as a template. So I managed to get one of the strings in, and now I'm going to do it again with the other one. First I will make sure that this is secure, which it is. There's a little bit of excess string, we'll get rid of that later. Alright, so then once you've got it hooked into here, keep tension on it, but not too much. You don't want to pull this out of its place. Then you're going to thread it here, loosen that spring up there, and just hook it round, take it under, once again, so that just took a little bit more time because it has to be, you have to do it the right way, because if you don't, the string will bind and it probably won't work properly. And then you hook it under there, and then skillfully pull this tight a little bit, so you're just going to pull a bit more tension on there. And then this is going to be threaded through this side. So a restringing process is done. It's not an easy task, but it's one that can be accomplished. So the next thing to do is to reattach the door. So you pull this here, slide the little metal bracket in there, and then you carefully lift this up. I think there should be a bit more tension on this door, because this one's quite tight, you see, and this one's quite loose because it's been bent back. So what I might do, before we put this back, I might take it out. I might see if I can bend it, because I reckon that needs a bit more tension on it. I think that's good enough. Alright, so just slot this in here. Alright, so in that goes, and really carefully slide it, and then what you're going to do is you're going to put these little prongs here into here. Right, so then you're going to reattach the spring here. And I also want to reattach this metal bracket here. When we use our hands and just move the motor like that, then it does seem to do what it needs to do. I'm going to put this belt on. As I was putting it back together, I realised that I hadn't checked the tape, and in the listing description it said that the tape wasn't playing, so I assume it's belts, and it is, because when I open it up we can find all the wonderful black goo. That's why my hands are covered in black stuff, so we need to clean these off. That's sort of half of one done. I'm just going to wipe that. So I'm just using isopropyl alcohol to wipe over all of the surfaces to make sure that they're all really nice and clean. Okay, so I think I figured out how to route the belt, and the belt needs to go around this back pulley here, then around this one here, and then between these two here. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, and then this needs to come back down. Then the tricky part is going to be getting this part here back on. Go under here. It does seem quite loose, but I can't make it any tighter, so it is what it is. If it's too loose, and it just, as long as it turns, I'm happy. Alright, so that's on. Right, so now it's time to reassemble it. So one screw goes in there. Then on this side, there is another screw. It goes here. Process of putting this back together. I noticed that someone's been in here, they've broken little bits of plastic, and I've tried to glue it, and they haven't done a very good job. So the plastic is quite brittle around these edges, so I've repaired this as best I can, but I'm just going to put it back anyway because some of the pieces of plastic are just sort of too hard to repair. So I have to very carefully, without breaking the plastic, screw this back together. That one seems quite thick there. Should I use this one or this one? Surely that's good enough, right? Okay, so what's the next thing that needs to be? These wires here, they go under here. That's those wires there. What else needs to be reattached? What is this here for? There's this piece here, right? And I've just realised that it goes here. Yes, it does. So we need to glue that back on as well. I thought there was something missing. Oh, so annoying because this is actually quite slightly more structural now. At least I know where this goes. It's going to have to go in here, and then it's going to be... Okay, that makes a little bit more sense now. The plastics on these old Bing Olufsens are pretty delicate. It's hard to say whether it was broken by force because someone was too rough, or it broke just over time. But I have heard that some Bing Olufsen plastics are quite brittle. Hopefully this is dry. It's still a bit loose, but I think in time it'll figure itself out. These wires here go around broken bit. And then it's still in place. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're going to use some of this grease here. I've just screwed it out in here, so I'm not screwing it directly into there. Have to attach this cord to here, and there's this rubber stopper thing. Okay, eventually I got the plastic thing out. It's quite difficult. Oh. Okay, so this isn't going well. I think I'm going to have to access the back of this board. This is quite frustrating because this really isn't a job that you should really need to do unless someone's cut the wires. I don't know why anyone would do that. It's solidly back in place now. It's about a month later, and I've been fiddling with the Olufsen Beocenter 9500 quite a bit. This wire here, I actually think it was, or was it this one here? One of these wires I replaced with regular old string, so it wasn't quite getting the right amount of torque and it was binding a lot, so I went to look for a better solution. It was closer to the original string. So I found this stuff called natural silk, which was at a local embroidery shop, and that seems to have a lot more tension on the string and it doesn't deform and it won't break, so it's proving to be a much better solution. I've just had to take this apart here because when this was all back together, the door would stop halfway, and when the door would close, the CD would start playing, but it would be very loose and you'd hear it almost spinning around, and it kind of affected the playing. So I've increased the tension on this spring, and this spring here actually pushes it down, and then this whole thing comes out like that, which is how it opens up. So hopefully that's an improvement when I put it back together, which I'm going to do now. Yeah, I've also had to take the tape apart a couple more times to get that working well, because this is a very fiddly machine.
it's a good day. Just to keep them alive.
It's featured on, will be out June 7th, 2024, this year.
Anyway, that brings us on to the end of the video. If you enjoyed watching, please leave a like, consider subscribing, or share a comment. I'll see you guys and girls all again very soon for another Andy Lights Cars audio review video.